A proposed $600 million class action lawsuit has been launched by the mother of a missing Indigenous woman from Saskatchewan, alleging the RCMP has been systemically negligent in its investigations into murdered and missing Indigenous women across Canada. Diane Big Eagle, mother of Donita Faith Big Eagle, is the named plaintiff in the proposed suit, filed Thursday in Regina by the Merchant Law Group. The action has not yet been certified and, while the allegations have not been proven in court, her story and those of other cases are familiar. Donita Faith Big Eagle went missing from Regina on February 11, 2007. She has not been found. Her mother, Diane Big Eagle, is launching a class action lawsuit alleging the RCMP has been systemically negligent. National Center for Missing Persons and Unidentified Remains. Big Eagle's daughter went missing from Regina on Feb. 11, 2007, and must be presumed to be dead, reads the claim. Big Eagle met with the RCMP more than 50 times and seemed to listen on a couple of occasions, but most of the time they did not write anything down and they did not seem to be paying any attention to her, the suit alleges. It also states that Big Eagle, in a number of group meetings held by the RCMP, was with other families of murdered and missing Indigenous women and girls. Born in 1984, her daughter, if alive, would be 34 today. Big Eagle has been caring for her daughter's two children. Read more. Article continued below. The importance and lessons of the sacred fire at the inquiry in Whitehorse. A lawyer with missing and murdered Indigenous women inquiry resigns, citing government interference. One Sisters 5 wishes as hearings begin on Canada's 1,181 lost women and girls. The suit, filed in federal court, was brought on behalf of immediate and extended family of murdered and missing Indigenous women and girls. In the case of murders, the homicide must have been reported to the RCMP and remain unsolved. Missing women must have been gone for more than 30 days and the disappearance reported to the RCMP. The unacceptably high rates of violence against Indigenous women and girls is well documented and known both nationally and internationally and has drawn criticism from national and international human rights watchdogs, reads the lawsuit. These calls for action have been in practical effect ignored by the RCMP, under a heading of systemic negligence. The suit alleges the members of the class have been subjected to unnecessary and preventable mental anguish through the failures of the RCMP to adhere to RCMP duties, including a failure to properly investigate and prosecute the disappearances and murders of victims. The RCMP was not transparent, provided inadequate investigative training to officers, and created or tolerated attitudes of racism by members which created the stereotypical thinking that resulted in inadequate investigations, the suit alleges. This created mistrust by Indigenous people, which interfered with investigations, according to the claim, which says the issues are ongoing, and breach the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Article continued below. As a result, the proposed action claims class members have suffered and continue to suffer from depression, anxiety, post-traumatic disorder, suicidal ideation, loss of opportunity and loss of income. A paper bag used to collect the tears of those testifying, to then be burned in a sacred fire, is seen at the final day of hearings at the National Inquiry into Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls, in Richmond, BC, on Sunday, April 8, 2018. The Canadian Press. Daryl Dyke. The RCMP defends its track record regarding these women and girls by painting them as being more vulnerable and at a disproportionately higher risk for exposure to these perils, states the action. It cites RCMP reporting of stats on alcohol or drug consumption before the incident, which ought to have been an irrelevant consideration. An RCMP spokesperson said late Thursday afternoon that the lawsuit had just been received and there had not been an opportunity to review it thoroughly, and that it was too early to address specifics. Included in the suit are summaries of 36 high-profile cases of murdered and missing Indigenous women and girls from across the country, including Sharon Nora Jane Abraham, 39, a mother of 5 from Sagking First Nation in Manitoba. She was reported missing in British Columbia in 2004 and linked by forensic evidence, a fingernail, according to family, to serial killer Robert Picton's farm. No charges were laid in that case. Tony Merchant, the lead lawyer on the claim, said the decision to launch the legal action against the RCMP now came after Big Eagle and others dropped in on the national inquiry into missing and murdered women and girls on its recent stop in Regina. Big Eagle got the real sense that this wasn't going anywhere quickly, said Merchant. The inquiry coming to Regina just resulted in, enough is enough, this isn't working. I will now turn to the courts for their help. Big Eagle could not be reached Thursday. Of the $600 million in damages being sought, $100 million is for punitive damages. We're really asking the court to send a message to the RCMP and policing, generally, that they have to find methods that work, and we prove that what they are doing does not work, statistically, said Merchant. The next step for the suit will be collecting more stories and plaintiffs, and certification, said Merchant, whose firm has launched class actions around residential schools and the 60s scoop.